NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremy Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barrie. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode 5 of the new season of NHL Nightly. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. We are live on Instagram, but I don't think that worked tonight. YouTube, X, and Twitch. Appreciate everybody coming out. Been watching a bunch of preseason hockey today, but I was going to lead the show with Jeremy Swayman stuff, but my wife had a friend die today, so kind of a crappy thing, and she was 40 years old. And not expected. And I know Mike Riddell came out on Spit and Chicklets. They're doing a breast cancer drive where if you buy 100% of the proceeds, and we obviously don't have anything here yet on our show, but just wanted to, just say go there and spend some money, man. Like buy a T-shirt or buy a hat, give $35 to breast cancer awareness or whatever. 100% of the proceeds go. It's just kind of a crazy thing. So, but then I have a dog missing, so I don't know what's going on. So I may have to get up and leave in the middle of the thing just to try to find this dog if he's running around outside, because I shut the other 4 in because I got no choice. So we're doing the show. So lots of stuff going on in Boston.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us your run of it, Mike? Why don't you give us your what you think of it and what's happening?
Yeah. So as a fan, we were pretty excited about the 8x8 getting announced. I know that's like half myth, half not, so we don't totally know what's going on. Fans are pretty split now. It used to be kind of 90-10, everyone hating Neely and Sweeney. Now it's more 50-50, like Swayman just signed the deal and the other half going, where's he going to go? Personally, I think he ends up, I think Washington or Philly. I heard rumors he's going to go to Colorado and we're going to get Georgiev. Ultimately, I don't see him signing. And a lot of people are saying, including myself, I've been saying it for months, it's time for Sweeney and Neely to go. I just don't see Swayman signing. He wants $10 million. The best we can do is $8 million, apparently, which is false. We have the cap space for $10 million, and we're not giving it to him.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you heard Marchand. The reporters are just asking the players now too, and you can tell he's just annoyed of it. I mean, roll with Korpisalo, I guess, to start the year. It's not the end of the world. He isn't the worst goalie in the world. I mean, he wasn't great in Ottawa because there was nobody in front of him. But, I mean, it's just weird that came out 8x8. I got 64 million reasons why Swayman could be playing right now. And then Swayman's agent had to come out and say something like there was no offer. That number has never been spoken to us. So, yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation there for sure.
I think I'm hoping the Georgiev rumors are true, because I heard it was like Georgiev and Wood or Georgiev and another prospect, and they'll get the rights to sign Swayman. I'd be happy with that. I think Georgiev's a great goalie, and I'm never going to say no to another prospect. So I'm hoping that's true, but I see him walking, and I don't see the Bruins getting anything, actually. I think that December 9th or December 10th date's going to roll around, and we're going to have Giannis, and someone else is going to get Swayman for literally nothing from Boston.
Yeah, there's that whole adage that he's played, 132 games. And I mean, but the guy took over for the Vezina winning goaltender and won that tandem basically and became the number 1 goalie in Boston. And he wants to sign a long-term deal and the cap's going up. So, I mean, I could understand his frustration, especially with the way the arbitration went last time too. So, I mean, he's just trying to set a precedent for the goalies and just making sure that the goalies are getting paid what they deserve and stuff. I mean, Bobrovsky's $10 million was a lot of money when he signed that contract years ago, but it's pretty fair value for a goaltender now. I mean, look how long ago Carey Price signed that contract. The contracts are just going to keep going up, and the goalie's got to stay right there with the elite players in the league too. So
it's definitely it's frustrating.
No, I just find it funny that not a couple weeks ago you had fire Sweeney and fire Neely on your name, and I laughed about it a little bit because I'm like, man, Boston sports fans are so spoiled there. But I gotta say from the jump, okay, John Sweeney, the way he handled, okay, Ryan Whitney reports factually from a source that he believes to be accurate that Jeremy Swayman got a 2-year, $6.4 million per AAV deal from the Boston Bruins, and Sweeney's upset about it. He doesn't like that it got leaked. Okay, well, that's a problem with your internal organization because somebody leaked probably factual information. Okay, then he destroys. That's the link to the site, guys. If you click on the link in the chat, I don't know if that'll take you if you want to buy anything that's cancer related. They're donating to charity anyway. So Sweeney says this thing, calls him the spinning up pod, which everybody knows. The Spin Chicklets is the biggest hockey pod. It's not even close. I mean, you could maybe make an argument that missing curfew guys are getting up there, but like, okay, this is it's absolutely ridiculous. In my opinion, Sweeney looks bad. Okay, he doesn't want to talk about the negotiations in public. Okay, but it does sound like they did not have a voice conversation with either Jeremy Swayman or his agent. Then today, or I believe it was today or yesterday, Cam Neely in a forum with all the Bruins folks. I think Jeremy Jacobs was there. I think Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, and definitely Jim Montgomery were there. He says he has 64 million reasons, which forces the agent to come out and say, we've never received an offer for 64 million, which would be 8 times 8. So who do you believe in this one? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with the agent. An agent gets very far in his, being an agent and negotiating for these guys. I think he did Willie Nylander's deal too. Now, you believe maybe he's at fault trying to hold out for more money from the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that's the job of an agent, is to get the best deal for his client. Sometimes getting the egos out of the way. But I'll tell you what, man, the way the Bruins have gone about this, they've really made Jeremy Swayman. They're trying to vilify Jeremy Swayman to the Bruins fans, in my opinion. Mike, do you see this any differently?
No. As I said in the beginning, it was about 50-50. People were saying Swayman needs to take a deal. Neely needs to pony up. Now it's like 90-10 amongst Boston fans of somebody pay Swayman. Neely looks awful doing this. Mom, I'm sorry. She's got a huge crush on Cam Neely, but I want him out. I want him gone. And a lot of it's just become a thing of it's an eye roll at this point.
Well, I would have said, Mike, before all this, I thought they had a pretty solid offseason. You're talking about they bring in Zadorov, they bring in Elias Lindholm. They add some pieces to that team that I think are going to be helpful.
Much needed pieces.
Yeah, and they had cap space, so they've kind of lowballed their guys, which has actually allowed them to field, I believe, a more competitive team. So I feel like I would you could kill them at some of their draft 2015, especially 3 draft picks. Basically one of them works out. They could have drafted Barzal, right, or something during that. So he would be nice in that lineup, I'm sure. Love to see him in the Bruins system. Yeah, I just
it's
I don't know. I mean, up until this last couple of weeks, I really didn't have anything negative to say about the Bruins front office. To me, this is just like an absolute bungle by them, starting with when you move Linus Ullmark, you don't already have a deal in place for Jeremy Swayman. Why don't you have a bridge deal signed with them then? Right then and there. They don't even move Ullmark until you have Swayman locked up for a couple years. And then if you trade Ullmark, you've got Swayman on a 2-year team control deal that's a lot less money. probably less than what they were offering. And then I don't understand what the thought process that was there from them. And then move, then you can move Ullmark. You don't, and this is not a factor. And then you have this successful offseason, and then you can reach the Swayman deal again when it's a factor.
Why couldn't you offer him 1 year, 8.5?
Well,
let's get him signed this year, 8.5, and then we'll figure this out next year, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, instead, we're gonna roll into the season with Giannis, and you know what? Let's go Giannis. Bossy had a pretty good spring or preseason. He's looked good in Providence. I mean, it's not that we didn't already trade one of our top, minor league goalies away, but we get 2 guys in the Providence College Friars that look great. So I'm already looking at 2027 and 2028 of when we're going to have our next goaltending.
So currently, Puckpedia has the Bruins at $7.8 million roughly in cap space. I'm sure they can make some roster moves or stuff like this. Look, like I think Bussy was in net tonight against the Flyers, was he not? Did you watch that game? The Bruins ended up winning that game 4-1. I watched most of it.
I did not, but
thank you, Jared. I love it. Jared's giving us updates from the Flames Seattle Kraken. Yeah. And then, by the way, if you're in the area, Seattle Kraken, you should be able to watch the games on Amazon Prime. So as long as you don't live in the greater metro Seattle area, they will not be regionally blacked out. So if you have the ESPN Plus, now I don't know if this works for Canada, but that's blacked out there. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I Rico, what are your feelings here? You got to be kind of loving it. Sam McKee today on Real Kipper and Born were back. He was really loving the Bruins kind of struggling, because it's Toronto Maple Leafs radio. He's like, yeah, finally it couldn't happen to a better franchise. I thought that was great. Did you get to listen in?
I listened to a bit of it. I went and played hockey there at about 6:00 my time as well too. So some more beer league hockey's floating back into my life right now. But
good.
Yeah, it feels like the Boston's just kind of feeling it a little bit here. I mean, they went out and they got Lindholm. They're hoping Coyle and Geeky, these guys take next steps. They're trying to solidify their center ice. Now they got a goaltending problem. I mean, like I said, Korpisalo's there, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, it's not something you see in Boston, that's for sure. With a franchise, it's basically in win a cup mode. I mean, Boston's not rebuilding or anything right now. They're trying to build this team to win a cup. They got a huge defense core. They went out and got these massive giants back there. And it's McAvoy's like the smallest guy on the back end. And now they got Lindholm. So, I mean, yeah, I hope they get it figured out. But you know what? Boston is in my top 10 of favorite teams in the world either. So
yeah, there's a lot of people outside of Boston that are not sad the Bruins are going through this. By the way, the Bruins did beat the Flyers 34 shots on goal today. They had 4 goals. I think 2 of them were empty netters at the end of the game. But Tyler Johnson scored a goal for them. He's on a PTO. And I think he had the game winner for them. So that'll be interesting if he ends up making the team. Tyler Johnson, smart hockey player, been a part of some cup. He was part of, I think, at least 2 championships in Tampa. Yeah, so Rangers Devils is over 5-4 today. That game was 5-4. That was on TNT. The other game on TNT here in the States is the Colorado Avalanche versus the Golden Knights. Golden Knights are up 2-1 in that game. Brendan Brisson, Tanner Pearson, and Yari Inala are your goal scorers. Blue Jackets are playing the Blues. Blue Jackets are up 2-1. I'll tell you what, I watched the Blue Jackets smoke the Capitals the other day. Caps beat them the other game 3-2, but in Columbus. But in DC, they came in a little late. Weather prevented them. The game puck drop didn't drop till like 8:15 Eastern. So about an hour and 15 past normal puck drop. And I don't know if the Caps just sat around too much, but Adam Fantilli looked spectacular. He had a hat trick in the game. He was all over the place. I expect big things from him And I don't know if you guys caught my my spot on with thanks to Kevin Olynyk from the Shifts and Pucks podcast. He had me on. I went on there. I don't know if you guys saw. I retweeted it. I hope you got a chance to watch. It was about an hour and a half. We talked Metro. But I'm starting to get nervous about the Washington Capitals. I don't know. I watched Pittsburgh tonight, though, put 44 shots on the Red Wings. Ville Husso looked great. And the Red Wings win that game 2-1, and Pittsburgh had a power play and an empty net at the end there. And we look, Pearlo's with us, but he's not with us. Pearlo, if you lean forward, it cuts your head off. So yeah, I got you muted because you were coughing. So if you have to cough, mute yourself because that doesn't come across good on the audio side. We are uploading the podcast again, so just be cautious there. And
Pearlo's practicing for his side gig. He's a magician.
I'm trying to share the live on my phone. That's all.
Yeah, you're good. No, you're fine, man. I don't care. I don't care if you lean forward. Just when you were coughing, mute yourself if you know you're going to cough or whatever.
Yeah, I got a lozenge now.
I didn't tweet out that we were live, but we are live on X and we are live on Twitch and we are live on YouTube. But we've got a good number, man. We got about 25 people with us, so I really appreciate it, Tim. Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Do you want my take on the Boston situation?
Yes, I do. I absolutely want your take.
I think they had a verbal number in place, and I think that Swayman's camp thought that the Shesterkin deal would have been done by now, and it never got done, and that's what's holding it up. They're waiting to see what Shesterkin gets before they're going to do anything.
I'm betting you money
that Shesterkin's holding out for like 11 to 12 million, from what I understand. And you know what? If I'm their camp, I'm probably not doing a deal at 8 million. If Shesterkin's going to get 12, I want 9.5. So I think the Shesterkin deal is holding everything up, and it's ticked off the Boston brass. And they came up with some number at 8 million. And then the agent comes back and says we've never heard that number or whatever. I think it's just posturing on both sides. And they're very frustrated because Shesterkin hasn't been taken care of yet, and that was really what was going to make this deal go down.
So I'm just going to say this. I bet you a 1,000,000% Shesterkin's representatives are waiting for Swayman's deal to get. But I mean, Swayman is
probably both of them. Probably both of them are doing the same thing. You know?
But Swayman is a RFA. Shesterkin's going to be a UFA, and I have heard 12 million for Shesterkin is not out of the realm of possibility, and that is probably right where they're asking. But Tim, the cap, they reported today the cap's going to be like, they think by the end of next year the cap could be like 110 million. They're gonna at some point they're gonna have to say we're out of the pandemic, all this stuff. Like, you know, we were 86 million for like 4 years in a row. Like, now the revenues are back. You know, they just moved a team on the whim and they sold out season tickets like that in Utah, which, by the way, they're playing tonight. The Sharks 1-0 or 0-0 in that game. I don't know if that's being broadcast, though.
I think Pearlo's – sorry, Beard. I think going back to what Pearlo just said, I think he's partially right there that I think that they had like basically a handshake agreement, and I think it probably went close to like you don't talk the contract to Neely and Sweeney, you don't talk about contracts to the media, you don't let that out, and then they probably told his agent you don't talk about this as well too, this is all behind closed doors. And I think Neely just slipped up in that conference and just said 64 million reasons why, and then that alerted Swayman's agent, I think, because they probably had something behind closed doors that they weren't going to talk dollars and weren't going to talk money to the media. They weren't going to let it get out, and then it slipped out, and then that just kind of snowballed a bit into.
Well, I think it's a really good chance that Sweeney and the gang thought that they were leaking my numbers out before that, and they said, okay, if you're going to leak numbers out, we're going to do this. And it's become personal now. It's not pretty.
Well, did they leak out numbers? Because we don't know who Ryan Whitney's source is. So, like, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
The Jacobs, he's known to kind of be screwy and loose too. So he could be the reason they're lowballing, and he could be the one leaking. He's not the sharpest guy out there. And he openly admits, I just want to make the playoffs because I can make more money that way.
And Nylander sat out till he got to 6.9, which was a bargain by the back half of that contract.
Right, but he has come out and said that he would have maybe not sat out, that he regrets that. So, I mean, I understand why people would not agree with the agent, but to me, and I'm going to find the statement from the agent and we'll just read it to everybody if you didn't catch it, if you're lost. So, this is from Mike Grinnell. He says, 2 weeks ago, I started to hear about rumors of a possible trade. The Bruins wouldn't comment, but it was also clear they told teams they weren't considering it and wanted to keep him. Again, we will see if anything has changed. Remember, the other teams are allowed to speak to Swayman because he's an unsigned free agent. He's an RFA, so somebody could give up picks for him if they wanted, or they could work out a deal post. But I'm trying to find – okay, so here's what Louis Gross said. Louis Gross, I said Cross, I think, earlier, but Louis Gross, who's the agent. And normally I do not release statements or discuss negotiations through the media. However, in this case, I feel the need to defend my comment. In today's press conference, $64 million was referenced. This is the first time that number was discussed in our negotiations prior to the press conference. No offer was made reaching that level. So there's reports that it was like 62 and Neely just spoke wrong. But he's saying, we're extremely disappointed. This was not fair to Jeremy. We will take a few days to discuss where we go from here. That's where I feel like, not good, and if you guys want to see that, I'll pop that up on the screen here. But yeah, not good. I mean, that's from the agent himself. I mean, you can breathe. And look, I think we all know, and Mike, you kind of said it. Here we get rid of the sidebar. The Jacobs is notoriously known for being cheap. I mean, they didn't pay Bergeron. They didn't pay Marchand. Those guys are way worth more. Now, I get they convinced them to take less money, but they took way less money. I mean, Bergeron, I don't even know what he left on the table. They're saying Crosby left like $40 million. I mean,
the most Bergeron ever made, I think, was $7 million a season.
Yeah, which is underpaid, like ridiculously. Maybe he didn't put up the offensive numbers you want to see. So, yeah, hey, Daniel, nice to see you, buddy.
He won, 6 Selkies and was a finalist another 5 times?
Hey, Gabby, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, they could rename the Selkie. Pearlo and I talk about this all the time. They could rename the Selkie after him. I don't think you get any argument from me. You definitely wouldn't get any from him either, so – yeah, appreciate everybody popping in, man. I just I don't know, man. That's a real interesting situation there. I'll tell you the team that if they had the assets, if I would move for them is Colorado Avalanche. They could figure out a way to make it work with their salary cap.
If they took Georgiev and then there was like 5 or 6 guys they have that are like $1 million. They'd ship both of them. We'd give them Sway.
We can look it up.
Cap wise, it was going to fit. I think Wood was one of the names thrown out there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to gut your whole roster, but
no, it's like goalie and a prospect for a goalie type of deal.
That would be absolutely horrible deal for Boston to make. Horrible.
No, it's a great deal because we get rid of this whole drama situation, and I have someone besides Giannis Korpisalo.
Swayman is going to have 2 or 3 Vezemans in his back pocket in 10 years.
Oh, God, yeah. It won't be in the
Georgiev is like probably bottom 10 number 1 goaltenders in the league.
Would you rather Georgiev or Giannis Korpisalo?
I'd rather have Alexander Georgiev.
Not too much between the two, to tell you the honest truth. It doesn't matter. If you lose Swayman, you just made the biggest mistake of your.
We're losing Swayman. At this point, this guy's
already. Well, then you just made the biggest mistake of your organization right there.
Well, I've been saying for months.
Simple. You don't lose Swayman. You do not lose Swayman. If you do, you're done.
Yeah, I do think it's a really insanely bad move, but
You're done.
Okay.
You're done. If
So-
you lose Swayman, you're done. They don't have an organization right now that can win with an average goaltender. If you lose Swayman right now, like just blow it up.
I mean, I would argue that there's
Just blow it all up, get rid of everything. You're going to rebuild, and that's the end of it. Seriously, you're done.
here's another. Sorry, Rico, I got you laughing, but I mean, like, who does win with an average goaltender? I mean, you have to get good goaltending.
Well, Hill in Vegas.
St. Louis Blues.
But if you look at his numbers, he wasn't average. He played unbelievably well. And
They played
yes,
well. They had some of the best two-way forwards in the league and
defense. Yep. I tell you what, too. I think people are sleeping on Vegas this year. I think they're going to be solid.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
Still the best defense core in the league.
I mean, it's up there, right? You could make I mean, Colorado maybe has the top pair with McCarr and Taves, but you kind of like Girardi and Manson. That's a good.
Boston doesn't have Stone, Carlson, Eichel. Like they got Pasternak. Marchand's 35 years old. He's not what he used to be. They have no number one center.
Well, you don't think Lindholm is going to play?
If you don't have Swayman, you are done.
I think Lindholm's going to have a really good year for them, but
he'll be all right. He'll get 60 points. He's overrated defensively,
but he's good defensively. Pearlo.
I would take Carlson over Lindholm.
Willie Carlson.
Carlson in Vegas over Lindholm.
Yeah, William Carlson. Yeah,
I would take him over Lindholm. Yeah. And they're paying Lindholm $8 million a year. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Willie Carlson's no bargain, but yeah, I mean, I think he has a nice contract. Zacha had a pretty good year last year for them, though.
Yeah, he's okay, but they don't have a number one center.
Yeah, no, I got you.
They got depth at center now. I think Charlie Coyle's going to step it up. I think he has a pretty good year. Morgan Geeky's going to step it up a bit. Zacha can move over to the wing now that you got Lindholm there as well too. They're not going to be
healthy.
That.
We have center.
It's not a lineup that's going to win with average goaltending. And if you get Georgiev back, you got below average number one goaltending. If you don't have Swayman, you're done. Done.
Yeah, but I mean, it might not be.
They know it. And they know it. If they don't have Swayman, they are done.
That means tickets get cheaper. You go to more games.
Oh my God.
Seriously, if you put Georgiev instead of Swayman in Boston right now, they barely.
Okay, well, I'm going to pop up the Bruins lines so we can just kind of stop conjecturing and we can see what they have. Right now, they have Lindholm as the top center, Zacha as the left wing. They have Charlie Coyle at second. They have Poitras, who played really well, but he just got hurt, right?
Yeah.
And he got hurt. And then they got John Beecher as their fourth line, but they're kind of a roll three. Brazo, I like him. I don't know. And then their D-core is Charlie McAvoy, Nikita Zagorov, Hampus Lindholm, Brandon Carlo, Andrew Peak, Mason Lowry. I like their D-core.
Yeah,
big bastard.
Yeah, every one of them guys is 6'4" or higher. Charlie McAvoy is the tallest guy.
I still take Vegas's D over theirs all day. But yeah. It is good. It is good. Definitely.
I mean, they got a good D-core. I mean, like, I don't know how they don't make the playoffs.
I'm hoping they don't make the playoffs so we can, get a better draft pick. And maybe I actually hope it's not a goalie. We have 3 in college right now, so I don't want that.
Don't you want to get a better draft pick in 2026 when, like, Gavin McKenna is coming out and stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like.
What's wrong with sucking for multiple years? We can.
That's true, too. Like,
just don't be Buffalo.
Then trade Swayman and rebuild.
No.
Yeah,
we're not going to trade him. We're just going to lose him. This is how Boston functions. We're a bunch of babbling idiots in our front office. He's just going to walk. I'm not even going to get a bag of pucks for him. I'm going to get a box of popcorn, sit on my couch, and watch where he signs in December.
If you put him up right now, you'd be able to trade him to somewhere.
But Neely's too stupid to do that.
Somewhere. But if you're going to do that, then rebuild. because you're not winning with anything less than Swayman. You're not.
Well, I
somebody's gonna
don't
go.
think there's an argument that they're a worse off team with. But I've heard Brandon Bussy's name come up as a big prospect for a long time. I'm sure he could back up. Didn't he play all last year in Providence, Mike? So
He did he split it with somebody else who already got traded. We got it's killing me. We traded the other guy, and the other guy we got 3 prospects in return. It was a 3-for-1 deal. So I mean, this is something I had said, I love our minor league system. I hope we trade a couple of those guys and go get centermen. Instead, we don't trade away Allmark. We're not going to sign Swayman, and now we're just gutting our goaltending. And right.
Again, before you trade Allmark away, why not get the Swayman deal done? He's an RFA. He had no leverage whatsoever when you still had Linus Allmark on the books. You didn't have to tell them they were trading him. You could have made that move. I know they had to get a waive, because Linus Allmark had a no trade clause. But what are you doing? Is this your first week? These guys have been there a decade now plus. What are they doing?
Maybe they talked to Swayman before they got rid of Allmark and had a bit of a handshake agreement. Said, okay, yeah, you know what, just play well in the playoffs, play well for the rest of the year, and you know what, we'll come to a number we're all comfortable with. Then probably threw a number a little bit here and there, and then Swayman just started getting talked to by his agent a little bit more, and now Boston screwed him over in arbitration a little bit, and Swayman started going to business school and everything and all this stuff behind the scenes and said, you know what, screw you guys. I want $10 million. And here we are.
There could be a lot of posturing too. I mean, Brad Marchand's 36. Lindholm is 29. Charlie Coyle's 32. They don't really have much to replace them. I'm starting to get the idea here that they're thinking that they got a short window and they're not sure they want to pay a goaltender $9 million because they see the writing on the wall and they're going to have to rebuild.
I mean,
they just don't want to make it look like that's what they're doing. It's possible. It's possible. So, they got sponsors to take care of, and they don't want it. They want to make it look like the number didn't come out and they end up trading them or something like that. It sounds wild, but when you look at their lineup in the future, really, 3-4 years from now, they don't have much here.
A lot of youth. I think in net, Philip Svedberg, Providence Friars last year was the number 3 goalie in Hockey East, number 14 in the country. I think they're relying way too much on him. They did also just nail the national development kid in the 7th round. So you got a kid coming in 4 years. And I honestly think they're looking at those 2 guys going, all right, we have a goalie coming in 2, and a goalie coming in 4. There's our young goaltending tandem. And they're just going to make it work for the next year or 2. And I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I really just don't see Swayman wearing a Bruins jersey at all this season. I don't.
It's very possible. Now, the more I look at it, okay, they bring in Lindholm, and it looks like, hey, we're playing to win a cup next year. But in all honesty, that's 7-something I think he's making. He's only 29 years old. That's a tradable contract. And I can tell you what his no trade list or no trade is, but I don't have cap friendly, so I can't tell you anymore. And then, Nikita Zadorov, somebody will probably pay that kind of money for a defenseman like that down the road. It's possible that they were just acquiring draft picks and they're just pulling the wool over everybody's eyes and they see the writing on the wall and this team's going to be in a rebuild for the next 3-4 years.
Well, I could see Swayman signing a bridge contract, a 2-year deal would have been appropriate to me, 8.35. 2-year deal.
I don't think Swayman's interested in that. That's the problem. And maybe they thought that he was. And
why wouldn't he be when the cap's going up? I mean,
he wants the term because you could get injured. He just wants the long term.
That's true.
He wants the $9 million for 8 years, and if you're not willing to give it to me, then move me. Like I don't put that past him. I wouldn't want to take a 2-year contract at his age at 25 years old, then get injured and you're screwed out of like how many millions of dollars.
Yeah, but if you take
I
a
think
2-year
that's what's
deal,
happened to him.
if you take a 2-year deal at 8.35 or 8.25 or whatever, and then after that's up, if you're fine, you could really you could get an $80 million deal.
If you're fine, and he could be the type of person that doesn't want to take a risk like that.
I mean, it's so he could make 96 million, or he could make, I don't know. To me, it's like Austin Matthews, I thought, made a smart decision in not signing an 8-year deal with the Leafs, because then you give yourself a chance to get more money. But also, if the team is not going in the right direction, you have the option to go somewhere else. You know, like when they made him the captain, I doubt he does. Rico, I'm not trying to take Austin Matthews out of Toronto, but I'm saying, like, you know, it was a topic of discussion today. What are they going to do? I mean, like, they're running it back with the same forward four, really, that they've had, except for you're going to have Tavares playing third line. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens, obviously. Hockey can't start soon enough. Used to start on the 1st of October. We are today, the 1st of October, Tuesday. We'll be with you. I think there's going to be a lot of stories to talk about this week. We haven't even talked about the Patrick Laine Perre hit, and that I did kind of read, though. It looks like the Habs have got some good news. He's not going to require surgery, so 2 to 3 months instead of 5 to 6 months is. But they're not so lucky with David Reinbacher. David Reinbacher from Montreal looks like he's going to be out for that period of time. So that's a brutal, man. They're going to lose that young kid for a whole year. And you think even if he wasn't in the NHL, just get an escape. By the way, a lot of deaths here in the States today, man. We had the guy from Good Times, and then Frank Fritz from only 60 years old. Frank Fritz from American Pickers. If you guys ever watched that?
Oh, man, Frank's gone?
Yeah, Frank passed away, man.
Damn.
Yep, died.
I think he was sick for a while because they stopped filming that show.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong. Yeah, rough, man. 60 years old, not very old, man.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I mean, what, Pete Rose yesterday and Dikembe Mutombo? Like,
yeah,
this is all that was yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get more contrasting people either. Pete Rose was kind of human garbage, and Dikembe Mutombo was kind of like a class act human being, man. And he was only 58 years old, had brain cancer. Again, that cancer sucks, man. I lost my grandfather to it. I mean, there's, it's brutal. Oh, yeah, they have a picture of him, like, right before he died. Oh, they're saying he was 58 as well.
Who's that?
Frank Fritz was 58. Wow, he must have been sick. He looked like he lost a lot of weight and stuff. But, yeah. Mike Wolf, the guy that goes, he goes, I love you, buddy, and miss you so much. I know you're in a better place. So, like you said, Rico, he probably was sick. So, yeah, John Amos passed away. That was the guy I was thinking of. He was famously, and for those of you that are old enough to have watched the show Good Times, which I think Pearlo is, Good Times was on when you were growing up, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, and he plays the dad, McDowell's. McDonald has the arches.
Oh, him. Oh, that guy. That guy was in Die Hard too. He was one of the villains. The army guys.
Yeah, he
wasn't
one
he
of the bad guys.
The cop in Die Hard 1 too?
No, that's Reginald Vell Johnson.
Oh.
That's the guy from Family Matters.
Yeah, that's
the guy from Urkel.
That's the guy that always had to deal with Urkel. Mike's probably not old enough to know who Urkel is. Rico.
Yeah, I know who he is, yes, but
you didn't watch the show. Like,
no.
I mean, dude, that show was on when I was a kid, so.
Yeah, Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man, back to back.
Yeah.
Flexi, I appreciate you. I'll reach out to you. on Discord. Thank you. Appreciate you. We always get some interesting cats from Twitch, but I am going to be streaming on Twitch more, doing some like content here. I got to figure it all out, but
1 sec, boys.
yeah, no worries, Rico. You got to pop. Yeah, so kind of crazy day. Yeah, so I know there was a lot of controversy. I didn't really spend a lot of time going down the Good Times dad. Tim York, yeah, he passed away. And it was all over my feed. I can't find it now. Oh yeah, sorry, John Amos. Yeah. So, but he was 84. So like you know when you get into that ballpark, it's like, all right, that's not so bad. You know, like you lived a pretty good life, buddy. So
Jimmy Carter turned 100 today.
Yep, Jimmy Carter becomes the oldest living president ever. We've never had a president make it to 100. That was an interesting fact I didn't know. So there you go.
Good for Jimmy.
Yeah. Yep. He was the president when I was born. So that's how long ago he goes back. Yeah, I don't have a ton. I mean, I don't want to go. I figured we'd save some of this debate stuff for later. Jack, I had a hit tonight on Tim Stützle. I thought it was a 2-minute penalty, honestly. Stützle's stick came up and hit himself in the face. Like, I mean, it was a result of the hit. The hit was a little bit late, but I was like, give him a 2-minute penalty. But I think he got 5 minutes. They said a game, but like it didn't look like he got kicked out of the game. It didn't look like he hit him in the head either. I think Leaf fans are a little bit sensitive to the whole Jack Eye thing right now. So, I mean, I get why the guy, you know, knee on knees, Line A, I didn't think it was, I don't even know if was it really that intentional? It looked like it happened really fast. Like, I just feel like the guy was probably getting out of the way.
Jack Eye should have got more than $3,000 fine for that.
Well, I'm all right with him trying to fight for his player, though. That's the kind of guy I want on my team. Like, I get, oh, you can't do this, and you hit him in the back of the head and stuff. But like, hey, man, you know you had a dirty hit. You know, throw blows, or coach. We got Berube behind the bench. If you got Ryan Reeves on the bench, throw him out there to answer for the. Not everybody's a fighter. You don't. You have that's why you have the enforcers. So, yeah, we get Jack. Well, I don't know if Reeves was in the lineup, but I don't know, man. Like, to me, it's like, Wayne Gretzky didn't have to fight. Like, he had a guy that did that for him, Marty McSorley. Like, it's like, I don't understand. Like, if another team perceives there was something bad, get the enforcers out and settle it on the ice. It doesn't have to be the guy that committed the knee on knee. I mean, like, there's going to be some justice for it later anyway, especially if he makes the team, which I'm doubting Rico, that guy makes the Leafs, right? I mean, he's probably an AHLer, or what are we talking here?
Yeah, he's an AHLer, and ex-Leaf Peter Holland went on Twitter to say the guy did not mean to do that. The guy's just playing his heart out, trying to crack a lineup to get into the Leafs. There's no damn way he's going after Patrick Laine's knee. Like, he means nothing to that Leaf team right now, and he's just a guy trying to make it, man. Just another guy. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, he feels awful for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the good news that we got today is that Laine's just got like a sprained ligament or whatever, and so he's only going to miss a couple of months, 2-3 months. So best case scenario, 2 months. So first 2 months of the season. It sucks. I mean, I don't think there's a fan out there that didn't want to see Patrick Laine get it kind of you really could argue it's his third shot with the team because, you did start with the Winnipeg Jets, but I do feel bad that happened to him. It's a tough thing. That's actually trending now on Twitter right now too. So he's saying thank you.
Oh, sorry. Who Laine is?
Yeah, Laine is saying thank you everyone for the love. I'll be back. And he posts so I don't know if he's going to yeah, so they say diagnosed with a sprained left knee and won't require surgery. So not requiring surgery is really probably the best case, because once you start cutting into a human, that's when all the recovery time takes, So appreciate everybody, man. We're getting really good numbers from Twitter, so I really appreciate everybody. I just want to say, if you're listening to us on Twitter, you can chime in on the feed there, and we will get the text. So I know a lot of shows don't read Twitter, but we actually can read the Twitter. So please do chime in if you want to read on Twitter. If there's something you want to say or you want to talk about. Rangers cut their roster down. I think most teams have. I talked to Canuck Clay today. I was asking him a little bit about if there was any surprises sent down, and he was a little bit surprised that Philip DiGiuseppe went down to Abbotsford. He said he just thought Talkett liked him a lot. They kept Atu Ratu up. So, I mean, eventually they traded for this guy. He was a part of the Bo Horvat deal. So you gotta figure they got to give him the old college try at the NHL level at some point, right? So it'll be interesting to see. Buffalo made some roster moves. I didn't see any names. Did anybody have anybody? I know that Elliot Friedman said everybody cleared waivers today, so I didn't see anybody. Nobody was getting claimed or anything. That's too early in the year for teams to be. If you're claiming other people's teams during preseason, you probably have a roster problem, right? So kind of interesting there.
Do we know if Brodeur, is he going to make the big league this year?
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's interesting, too. Marty Brodeur's son was looking pretty good against the Rangers the other day in New Jersey, which I think he's still on the roster. He didn't play tonight, obviously. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to guess that they're going to keep – excuse me. I'm going to guess they're going to keep Jake Allen and Markstrom. Those two guys. So, but both those guys are 34, and I think they're both only on 1-year deals. So it will be interesting. And then they have Dawes, right? Nico Dawes. So I highly doubt he makes it, Mike. If he's there, it's probably got to be a.
It's like a publicity jersey sale thing.
No, like it's probably got to be like they don't like they have a bad injury or something, because yeah. So yeah, he's not even on their non-roster goaltenders.
So 1 more year.
Yeah, so is he playing juniors still, or because guys who are in juniors can go to camp? That's the big difference.
I thought he was in Trenton.
So he's not showing on their non-roster, but Nico Dawes is. So I don't know. I'm on Puckpedia again. I know everybody's like, oh, it's not the greatest, but I don't know, man. He's not showing. Wasn't even aware Marty Brodeur's son had a kid playing in the NHL, honestly. I will say this, though. I did learn today that Martin Biron's son is going to be playing for the Army, baby.
Ah.
Yeah, he signed with Army, which is actually that's a hard school to get in, man. They have if you don't know, West Point, where all the U.S. Army officers go, or where not all the U.S. Army officers go to West Point, where a select few, they have over 20,000 applicants. They only let 1,000 in per class. And so to get in, he's going to be a freshman, pretty big deal. If you're interested in college hockey, me and the Degenerate Bostonian will be live Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern to talk some college. We'll have some games to talk about, won't we, Mike?
We will. And since we're on Army, when do I get to see them? Oh, November 26th. They'll be in my backyard. And they'll be in yours out in Springfield visiting UMass on the 29th. So
my old backyard, my family.
Old backyard, yes.
Yeah.
So 26th and 29th, everyone. I'm going to go see Army play.
Marty's son is around 27 years old. Okay, Gabby, I didn't know. Yeah, he's not. I don't know. That's odd. That's odd. Yeah, he's not shown on their roster. I thought he was younger. So he must have played. He must have been playing other places too. Yeah. Crazy. Thank you, Gabby. Gabby keeping us. Gabby's a Senators fan, by the way. Gabby, are your Sens going to make it? That was the jack I hit against Stützle tonight. Again, penalty, deserved a penalty for it, but I don't know. It looks like Stützle was okay too, so that's good news. But Jack Eye is going to be a polarizing guy because he's a physical. I mean, that breed is dying from the NHL. So
it's unfortunate.
I think we're going to see went after him pretty good after that hit.
Oh yeah, he got kicked. Yeah, Brady. Again, a guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
So
I think as we lose enforcers, we're going to see more cheap shots and more injuries. That's my opinion. Because what's the repercussion? A $5,000 fine to someone that makes $1 million a year?
Not even $3,300 is what Jack Eye got.
Yeah, but I don't know what Jack Eye makes, but he doesn't make a ton of money.
No.
He I mean, he was working at. He's kind of a cool. He was working at Costco. That's kind of a cool thing there.
Do you guys think the Ottawa Senators make the playoffs this year?
I don't.
I do.
I do.
Really?
I think so.
You think the line is there?
This is the first time in years I'll say that I actually think they might do it.
What's the reason why?
Well, one of the reasons why is one of the most underrated moves of the offseason was Ottawa getting Jensen. That was very underrated. You should know that being a Washington fan.
Who?
Nick Jensen.
Nick Jensen.
Yeah, he got hit in the face with the puck. I think he's going to miss some time.
Oh, really? A little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
But if he's able to play, I
Nick
think
Jensen is one of the he's very
he's
good
going to do
for
a hell of a lot for that defense. Not just on the ice, but they needed a guy like that
because
they had a whole bunch of young guys, and Shabbat's not going to tell anybody what to do.
Gabby diehard Senators fan says he doubts they make the playoffs, but he says he does have them 7th in the Atlantic. The problem is the Atlantic is a meat grinder. Who are they going to beat out? They're going to beat out the Leafs. They're going to beat out Boston. They're going to beat out Tampa Bay Lightning. What?
Everyone's going to beat the Bruins.
They'll slide ahead of Montreal. They'll slide ahead of Buffalo. They'll slide ahead of Detroit. They'll slide ahead of the New York Islanders. They'll slide ahead of the Washington Capitals.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Islanders and Capitals are in the Metro.
No, but I mean for the wild card, for the second wild card.
Okay, that's fine. But
so
I don't know.
We're looking at 5 teams in the Atlantic.
So Ottawa had 37 wins last year, 78 points.
Yeah. They got Norris back. Pinto was injured a lot last year.
They got Allmark. They got David Perron there now.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a 42-win team.
It kind of all depends on what Green is like as far as the coach is concerned.
So they have winning.
There's only one reason why I didn't take Ottawa to make the playoffs last year, and that was because DJ Smith was his coach.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that was going to be a disaster from the guy. So to me,
Green maybe is better. I don't know.
I think the Red Wings are the team that makes the playoffs from that group. And I think Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs, but I think it's not going to be as easy for them. Obviously, I think the Bruins will fall off. I think this year, if the Leafs don't win that division, they're never gonna, because Florida is not going to be the same team they were last year. They've lost too much from that Cup team. The Bruins, obviously, this Swayman drama is a great way to start. Okay. So really, I feel like it's the Leafs who were 102 points. But, dude, 98 points got you the wild card last year from that division. Tampa Bay, who had 100, Kucherov had like 150 points. And they squeaked in. I mean, it's squeak in, but they made, I don't know, man. Like, I looked at, and then the Metro had 4 teams. I know the Capitals made it with 91. So, yeah, you could count the Capitals out. I'm fine with the Capitals not making the playoffs. I think that's a huge possibility. The Islanders could miss too, but 3 teams from the Metro are going to make it. So let's just say 3 teams from the Metro make it. What I will say,
New Jersey,
Rangers, Carolina, and let's say the Penguins. Let's say the Penguins make it. So Rangers, Carolina, Pens are the 3 teams from. I still have a tough time believing Ottawa beats out Detroit or Buffalo. I think Buffalo is going to be a lot better this year. I think Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's got another year under his belt. Yeah, so Gabby agrees with me. He thinks Buffalo. Here, I'll just let it get back. Gabby says, I think Buffalo makes it of those 3, and I don't think it will be close. I feel like the Red Wings are frauds. Defensive core is Sider only, and goaltending is questionable. Well, if Husso plays like he played tonight, though, Gabby, I think they will be okay. But I don't disagree with you. Now, obviously, Detroit has some questions at goaltending because they, they have like 5 of them in camp. So it'll be interesting, man. But I don't know, man. Like I'm
not saying they make it, but I'm more confident in Ottawa than I have been for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought they would be a team last year, but like it just seems like every year they just don't make it.
I am 1.5 units at plus 230 positive. The Detroit Red Wings will make it.
Okay, so you're on Detroit.
I was on them last year, and we were on the show live as they missed it by tiebreaker. So
I went and watched a lot of Ottawa games in person last year, and I just didn't see a team structure. I saw players just getting down, and there's no real voice there. And Brady Tkachuk was a captain, and he's trying to do it on the ice, and it just he's tried doing it too much himself. And Claude Giroux was there, but he didn't talk too much, it seems. So now you got David Perron, Nick Jensen, you got a better goaltender in there as well to maybe bail out those guys.
I mean,
Sanderson takes another step as well too. Jake Sanderson takes another step because he's basically one of the main puck movers back there. So, and like Pearlo said, I think Ottawa is just going to be a little bit better than people think. Whether they make the playoffs or not's up for debate because there's that love triangle between Buffalo, Detroit, and Ottawa, it seems, in that division. I don't think Montreal's there, especially with Laine and Reinbach are gone. So I think it's between those 3 teams, and who basically beats each other out. It's going to be
Detroit's got Jeff Petrie in the top 4, Justin Holl, Tarasenko's he's horrible now. And then Patrick Kane, I mean,
Tarasenko was unbelievable in the playoffs. Did you not watch the playoffs?
Yeah, I watched the playoffs. What do you mean he was unbelievable?
He was unbelievable for the Florida Panthers.
He was great from the hash marks. He was great from the offensive hash marks.
You need to go back and watch. I don't think you're remembering correctly. He actually
I remember correctly. The guy was an absolute basket case from the defensive red line down. He was terrible.
I thought he did pretty well.
What a guy does from the offensive hash marks forward.
He did 5 or 6 goals in the playoffs for them, and he was playing pretty good 2-way game. No,
they won
you have lost the plot, Pearlo, on this one. You need to go. They won the cup. You're telling me you're talking about the winning team and the guy that was a big part of it, and you're saying he was an absolute shitbag.
You got to go back. I said they won despite of Tarasenko, not because of Tarasenko.
Yeah, I'm not saying they didn't win the cup because of him, but he had a lot of big goals in that playoffs too. So. Yeah, I totally disagree. Somebody else can chime in because Pearlo has lost his fucking mind on this.
You don't want Tarasenko and Patrick Kane on your second line between Comfort.
I don't think that's the line.
Yeah,
I will take Patrick Kane and Tarasenko between anyone. I will take that. Put Poitras in there. I heard Boston was looking for a pair of wingers.
Terrible. I'm sorry, Detroit doesn't make the
Yeah, so they did that. I guess that's why they got it. They got Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond and Alex DeBrincat as their top line. They got Kane, Comfort, and Tarasenko as their second line. Andrew Kopp, Michael Rasmussen. I think they got a good bottom 4. Christian Fischer. Those guys are all great 2-way. Jonathan Bergen, Joe Veleno, Tyler Mott. Now, what do they get out of Simon Edvinsson? That's going to be the real – obviously, you probably don't like having Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie in your top 4. But Eric Gustafsson, man, what do you have, 45, 50 points for the Rangers? He had a really good year for them. Like, he's good. If they put up –
I like a lot, actually, yeah. I would put him on the top line and put Ben Sherratt on the bottom. But
Seider is a very good – if Edvinsson and Seider end up being a top pair together, if Edvinsson finds his game –
yeah, sure. But I don't see this team being a playoff team. Lyon and Talbot is your top. No.
So they have Alex Lyon, Talbot, but they have Ville Husso too. And I'll tell you, Ville Husso won fantasy for me one year. I mean, he was very good with the Blues. And Bennington was not solid. He was. What are you saying, Rico?
Nothing. Just laughing because we're comparing it to fantasy with another team that's 5 years ago.
Well, no, but I'm saying it was 3 seasons ago. 3 seasons ago, he with the Blues, he had a really good year.
Yeah. No, for
He
sure.
doesn't
When he
have-
was tandeming with Binnington and he almost took over Binnington's job type thing, and all of a sudden Husso went away, and we thought maybe he would be taking Binnington's job from him. He was awesome. He was lights out for a couple of years in St. Louis.
Maybe Jack Campbell will have a great year this year.
I don't even know if is Jack Campbell with the Wings?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Right now they have, so that's going to be interesting if he gets any playing time for them. But yeah, you never know. Jack Campbell comes back. Yeah, I have a tougher time believing in the Red Wings. Avi said earlier, I wanted to give his props. He says, give me the Habs over the Sabres and Red Wings. That could be too, man. I mean, you don't like how they're starting the season with the injuries, man. Like, that's the one thing. They're super young, too. Like,
Yeah.
is there one – their fan base is going to be okay with them not making it.
Their defense is way too green, I think, to make the playoffs.
Gorgon, I'll have over my shoulder here. You guys can see the Johnny Gaudreau jersey. That will be over the shoulder for the remainder of the year. It will sit on the Deadpool. Yeah, awful, dude. That's tough stuff. I will say this too, though. I do think, and I agree. This was from Kevin Olenek from Shifts and Pucks. Said he thought this too. I got to give him credit. Is that he thinks Blue Jackets will come out firing because of all the like emotional. So I do too. I think they're going to be. I think Fantilli, those guys are all going to raise their games. Kent Johnson. I think we're going to see some of those guys.
Marchenko, Chinnikov, all those.
Yeah, those guys were doing really. Chinnikov and Marchenko were putting the puck in the net for him last year. So, and I love Dean Evison. I think that was an excellent hire. I think Don Waddell getting in there, being the GM, they had to get rid of Jarmo Kekalainen. He had been there too long. 10 years. You had enough time, dude. You got one playoff series win during that time. It's over and done with. So, they had a win in the bubble too, but it technically didn't count as a playoff, right? It was like the play-in or whatever, but I mean, that victory over that victory over Tampa Bay might be the greatest upset in recent history I can think of. Yeah, Avi thinks they'll battle till Christmas, but they're going to drop off. Yeah, they probably lack a lot of depth. You're probably not wrong there. So, but I think they might come out of the gates. They won't be a fun team to play the first couple of months.
Yeah, they'll start playing like the Philadelphia Flyers, like they did with Tortorella last year, and just playing all hard, tough team to play against.
But they were in the playoffs basically till the last 2 weeks of the season, Rico. Yeah. And their biggest thing was Carter Hart's on that team. You and I know they're making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were a better team than Washington was. Credit to Spencer Carberry. But also credit to, Charlie Lindgren for the Capitals because, he won them a lot of games. So, well, guys, we'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll be back at it the rest of the week. We'll be back at it till the playoffs are over. We're back. Hopefully we have this, a quad. I will say occupancy is still part of the thing. He's going to come on and give us picks for EuroLeague stuff for real degenerate gamblers. Mike and I are going to be doing every Friday the college hockey show, but we'll still have NHL nightly Friday nights until Monday Night Football's over, and then we'll take Friday nights off and we'll do Monday nights. So no Monday nights, but Tuesday through Friday. It's going to be a good time. Pearlo and Rico, I'm going to reach out to them during the day and get a pick, like a goal scoring prop and a pick from Pearlo, and I'll be putting that out on socials. So be watching. No EuroLeague like hockey.
The Dell League, the SMHL.
Yeah, he lives in Switzerland, so
I guess QJ.
Well, and he'll be, he's in the time zone of all that stuff, the Swedish league and all that. So we get our own little Matt Merles type thing as it represent the Chicklets. By the way, check out Chicklets. They're selling some cancer merch. Rest in peace to my wife's friend, Nicole. Absolute awful news I got this morning. She passed away. That's how we'll end the show today. I appreciate everybody coming out, man. We had like 30 people in here, man. Great news, man. I appreciate everybody showing up. Maybe we'll take some questions later in the week. But we'll have to DM you on Twitter. We're going to do that for a while. So anyway, love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Wait till we start doing call-ins, messages, voicemail messages. It could
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll be like that Pearlo guy. I'm telling you, that guy is so full of shit about Tarasenko. I got his jerseys
I'm just
all over
gonna
my bedroom.
I'm used to getting lambasted by everybody. Unpopular takes. Yeah.
All right, everybody.
That's why we love you, man.
All right, buddy. Yep, you're not without an opinion, Pearlo. It's good stuff.